Hi, I'm your host Antonio Lee of the Tonio Island Podcast, and today visiting us on the island is Lester Hayes. He is a two-time Maryland Nike Rush State Cup champion. He is a 2011 State Cup champion at the Mather Catholic High School. He is an alumni at the University of California at Irvine, and as well, he has spent his time playing in the 7th Division of Spain at CD Almunecar City, in Alarino and CD Alarino in the 4th Division, and currently plays his time in the 4th Division of Spain with El Palo FC. Our first guest today, Lester Hayes. Let's get started. Yeah, I got you. So what's good,
All
my
right,
boy?
bet.
So what's good
Chilling,
on, my
man.
boy?
It's just a weird weekend. No games due to COVID. We've been 2 weekends without a game, but that's how it is right now. Weird times.
It's a weird time, man. So, shoot, let's get this thing started. Cause I already did your little intro. I don't feel
Okay.
like running it back. I mean, unless you want me to run it back, it was pretty damn good.
Nah. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
Let's start it up, bro. So shit, it's the first episode on the island. So let's get this shit going. So first question, dog. What has 2020 taught you? Because it was a long year. It was a long year. It was a
2020,
different year.
2020 was a different year, man. I mean, it was. I would say 2019 going into 2020 was a tough year mentally for me in the sense of fighting back from injuries and then getting back into shape, then getting dropped from the starting, my old club starting, and it was a lot. But I would say 2020 was a year of just, I think of rebranding yourself in any way, shape, or form, not just what you're doing in your life, but also like spiritually and really reconnecting with yourself. Because 2020, we were locked in the house for most of the time. I mean, you and me, we were both in Spain. So
Yo,
beginning of 2020, we were, balling, and then March 13th hit in Spain, lockdown. So you're inside the house and you're really thinking about, damn, what your future gonna be like, what you gonna do. So it's really a time like to really reflect and really get back to like the basics of what you want to do and what your dreams are. So for me, 2020 was a year of reflection and personal growth. Not more so physically, but more so spiritually and mentally.
yeah, yeah, definitely. 2020 was just a. I feel like 2020 is a year that we needed to have, in my opinion, because it was just a lot of things had to happen where people. I felt like people needed to change. So we got tougher skin now from that year. We ain't gonna be. We really ain't built the same as before March anymore. Like 2020 has it
No,
changed
that's
some
true.
people for the good,
That's true.
or 2020 has changed a lot of 20. It's changed a lot of things. But anyways, man. So we gonna run this back from the beginning. We need
All right, let's run
because
it
I
back.
don't know because I don't know a lot of people don't know you. All right,
Okay,
people
okay.
that need to know. This dude is huge. This guy is tall.
Nah, I
This
don't
guy
know.
is tall.
No, I'm tall. I'm tall. I'm tall. I am.
This guy
I'm
is.
tall.
This guy ain't not sure he's tall. Man is a freaking beast.
Uh,
So, dog, you were born out in Savannah, Georgia, but you moved around everywhere. And then you told me
yes,
you
sir.
started out in Cali, right?
Cali. So I first born in Georgia, lived in Virginia. I actually played soccer in Virginia. I started when I was playing when I was 3, from
Yeah.
what my parents told me. I think my first team was the Vikings, some little rec league, and you know how it is. When you first start playing the game, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, I was 3 playing against 5 and 6 year olds because I was just a big kid, so they let me play. And then from there, when we moved back to Georgia, I was playing down there a little bit. But when I got to Cali, that's when it really picked up because back in the day, way before your time, back in like the early 2000s, Southern California was the hotbed for American soccer. Like it was the place to be. Like that's where all the best players came from at the time. Now it's changed. You can find a top player anywhere, but in California is where it was at. So when I moved to Cali, that's when I first started playing club soccer, and that was my first introduction into the sport of football, as we should call it. We're not going to call it soccer for the Americans, but in Europe they call it football. Look at you, kind of funny. So That was my first real introduction when I got to California at around the age of 8.
Yeah, man. Man. Like I kind of agree with you about that. With there's ballers that come out of Cali, but I got a rebuttal with that because I met ballers that came out of freaking DC and Florida.
Oh no! I knew no. So that's what I'm saying. Like back in my day, like when I was growing up,
Oh, back
like
in
when
your
I
day,
was from eight to about 13, California
yeah,
from with me was where all the best teams came out of. Any team that left California to go play, they usually the only teams that were able to compete with them were the teams from Texas, and then there was a team in New Jersey for my age group, and then there was another
New
team
Jersey,
out in Maryland,
Jersey
Baltimore
too.
Bays. Yeah, so it was New
Oh,
Jersey Gunners, Baltimore Bays,
yeah.
and then Dallas Texans. Those were the top teams outside of California. But in California, from my age group, we had Arsenal,
They,
we had San Diego Aztecs, we had CFC Italia, we had who else? Up north, we had in the north we had Deonza Force. There was a sporting team up north that was nice with it. Barcelona and San Bernardino area, like it was cutthroat in Southern California. Like everybody could play, you know.
yeah, definitely.
Oh
That's
yeah,
it for the ballers.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that warm weather shit.
No, I mean that's the thing. Like in California, you could play year round, so we just didn't play
Yeah,
like on the East Coast. You got to stop during the winter. Well, in California, we were playing throughout the winter because there's no winter.
yeah. I mean, we don't in the East Coast. Growing up in New York, we didn't really stop. It's just that we stopped going to the field. That's when we switched from outdoor to indoor, and you're playing more indoor tournaments. You going 5v5s and
Got
all
you,
that stuff. So we
got
didn't
you,
or
got you,
we didn't switch.
got you.
Snows out. We can't play no more. Shoot. I still would have loved to play in Florida or something like that, man. I hated the cold weather.
Yeah, nah, playing in cold
Shoot.
weather is
So
tough.
you move.
It's tough.
So you moved from West Coast FC all the way to, dude. You moved all the way to DC. Shoot, you moved from Cali all the way to
Yeah, man.
DC.
Yeah, so I mean,
Oh
after
man,
after
I know you.
after
I
growing
know.
up in
As soon as
Cali,
winter came, you were mad.
nah, man. Actually, like I was happy to move. It was tough at first. 'Cause I left right after my freshman year. I mean, growing up in Cali and playing with various people and various tournaments and being around Southern California and the ball and a different lifestyle and being, especially back in that time, being one of the only African American players in Southern California was very different. You didn't see many of us playing at that time. Like it was rare, and it was funny because when we all show up at tournaments, we'd all get together and talk because it was just us. It would be like a handful of us. So when I moved to DC area, or the DMV as we call it, that was a total culture shock for me because now I was going up against players that were like me, just as athletic, just as fast, just as strong, like everything. So now it didn't, and that's when I started really learning that it didn't really matter about my physical abilities. It had to show my the way I had to think the game about my technical side, and that's when I really started to learn how to play the game the way it suits my abilities. So yeah, when I moved to DC, man, let's see, I went from I was at St. Augustine High School in California, and I transferred into DeMatha Catholic, which is a story high school in America. In my opinion, it is the number one high school in America. You cannot top DeMatha Catholic High School. Like, I'll put any other high school up against us in any facet, and you won't top us. From academics down, it does not matter. We are the number one high school in America, and I say that wholeheartedly.
Nah, I mean, I know at DeMatha Catholic, a lot of professional athletes have come out of that school, like in all sports, from baseball, basketball, soccer, football, like
Yeah,
every,
man. Yeah.
like
I mean,
there's been government officials, maybe top lawyers and all that stuff that come out of DeMatha
yeah, no, I
and
mean,
all that.
police chiefs. I mean, in any part of the industry in America, or even like in America especially, you have a DeMatha alumni that is the CEO or the head of this company or is the head of this sport or a sports reporter or a great writer. It's just the school is just talented. It just pushes out talent, and I think it's just that school taught me a lot about being a winner and a champion. So I mean
Yes.
that was probably for me the best switch of my life was leaving Southern California and going into the Mather.
Let's start recording again.
All
All
right,
right, because we had the Mathis.
the
All right,
Mather. All right, the Mather.
so 2011, y'all won the state cup championship at DeMatha. So that was your senior year, right?
My senior year. So funny fact, in the Mather when I was there, we don't have state championships because in Maryland they did not let the private schools, because the Mather is actually in Prince George's County, Maryland, Hyattsville. They don't let the private schools compete with the public schools because it's unfair. So we have our own conference called the WCAC, which is the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference, the best high school conference there is in America, in every sport. Basketball for number one. Football is one or two, depending on what you would say. California has, modern day St. John Bosco, and that's a tough conference. But WCAC is where it's at. So yeah, we won the WCAC my senior year. We went 24-0. I think we had the best goals to goal ratio. We scored like 110 goals and had 10 goals scored on us the whole year. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a it was a fun time. And back at that time, that I would say that was probably the last year where high school soccer or football kind of was a big deal, because the year after that, that's when the academy started really taking hold and taking all the top high school players and pulling them out. Because, and I get it. I think academy is a great thing. Going on a side note, I think it's a great thing for development of players. But also, there is this little bit of it's a little something about playing for your high school and then going out and playing against other high schools and beating them. It's a little bit more of that rivalry. I can tell you, in our championship game, we played in front of in front of, I don't know, 2,000 plus fans, 3,000 plus fans for a high school game. In the championship game, my senior year, we won 5-1. I mean, that is insane. You don't get that. You don't get that when you play academy, and I think kids miss that. And I understand it's a change now. And if I were to go back in time and a kid would have asked me, like, what should I do, play academy or play high school? And I said, what is your goal? And if your goal is to become a better player and a pro, then you got to go play academy. You got to make that sacrifice. But it's still like a little bit missing out from, that American style of playing for your varsity sports at your school. But in the reality, in the world, you want to become a professional baller, you got to make those sacrifices and not play. It's not like high school basketball or high school football where they still come recruit. It's not the same.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely, because when I was playing, I'd always loved playing for my high school, honestly. I didn't think, at the time, I was like, nah, I don't want to do it and all that. But then once I started feeling like crowds coming in, it was like the first time I ever got to play in front of crowds. And
man.
For a club or academy, you don't really get a crowd. It's usually your parents.
Yeah.
It's usually like your parents, your teammates, brothers and sisters. That's it. Like, when you're playing for your high school, it just hits different.
Yeah.
It's like you go the next day after a win. After a win, you school.
Yeah.
School, you the man that day.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody dapping you up, like, yo, good game.
Yeah.
Teacher saying something.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Nah, it's cool. It's funny.
People don't realize it, though.
That's funny you say that, because at the Mather, my senior year, the championship game, after we won that Sunday night, our dean of students, Mr. McMahon, was like, all right, varsity soccer, y'all get to come in an hour late to school tomorrow. I was like, what? We got to come in an hour late? Because we had to be at school. I think it was 7:15 was when the first bell rang. 7:30 is when classes started. So we got to come in at 8:30. We're like, yeah, we're champions, And at the school is like, oh, like the soccer team won champions, the top 3 in the nation. So it was dope. I would not take my high school experience and change anything of it. I would never change it. It was the best experience for me, becoming not just a better athlete, but a better man, and learning. On our one of our mottos, or our motto is gentlemen and scholars. It's not athletics. We're gentlemen and we're scholars. So we had to dress up correctly, had to wear a suit. We had to wear a blazer. We had to wear dress pants, a tie. or we had to wear a polo during the spring, but we had to dress nicely, and we started, have to carry ourselves in a different way. And the academics at the math was second and it was difficult. I mean, it prepared me for what college would be. It prepared me for college in the sense that college was easy. And like I went to college and I was like, bro, this is nothing. Like I'm coasting through class,
Yeah. So like I know at DeMatha, did you played with anybody on your soccer team that went some places as well? Because you told me that you one guys go out and all that, and you had some pros. Like talk about that.
So my sophomore year was when I transferred in. When I was there, we had the senior class that year and the junior class talented. We had a forward that I still look up to this day. His name is Christopher Hankey, who was the man, like at the math end, one of the best players to ever come out of the DMV area. He played for DC United Academy, went on to sign for Ohio State. He got drafted to the Portland Timbers and just didn't, I think he just didn't want to play anymore. But he was a baller back in high school. U.S. national team, U17 national team he was a man amongst boys. Like he literally looked like a man. Like he was big, strong, physical, like great back to goal, finished with both feet, just a baller. And then we had a center back, Wole, African cat, the senior year. He went to Clemson. And then the goalie, my boy Stefan, who's Trinidadian, he went to UConn. Then the class under that, we had just great seniors. James Rice, Joe, Chasm, Brian Alvarez, Toby, oh my God, Bernard, oh my God, Pee. Like we had so many people that were just good and great players. Like I'm missing a few. I know I am. Eric Hamill, like who else? Oh man, we had a squad, like, and those guys went on to have great college careers. And then my class, my boys were on the team: Ben Flay, Amos, Cody Albrecht. Cody Albrecht signed with St. John's. Amos went to Catholic, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and so did Ben. And, of course, I went to UC Irvine. Gabe, I forgot what college Gabe went to, but he was a baller, too. But that wasn't even the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
The class below me in the sophomore class my senior year, straight animals in that class. So that class was probably the best class that came through DeMatha in the sense of you talking prestige. So Michael Parker was the center back captain. He went on to play at the Naval Academy. Now he is a Navy SEAL, if I'm not mistaken. Goalie Mac Burt went on to Naval Academy. Now I think he's in the Navy. I don't know what branch he's in. Great player, great goalie. Outside mid, Nick, he was a junior. He went to, I forgot what school he went to, a school in Baltimore. Then we had Conti, who went to, oh my God, what school was that? It was a school in Massachusetts. I forgot the name, but it's in Massachusetts. But the big time ballers were Chris Aduye-Sem, who went to Maryland, played there for 4 years, got drafted, went to plays for DC United. Ja'Cory Hayes, Wake Forest, 4 years, drafted to FC Dallas. Now he's with Minnesota United. Romelio Hernandez, Louisville, drafted, was playing for the Rio Grande Valley, Phoenix Rising, El Salvadorian national team. Sean Cowdrey, who went to Indiana but ended up not playing after transferred to High Point, was a baller. One guy named Jonathan Ware we call J-Wow, who was a quiet kid but a straight monster. One of the players that was like, when he got on the field, you're like, damn, he could play a lot more, but just the squad we had was just impeccable. Yeah. It was just one of those things where you was just like, you had just players coming behind you and players that left. It was just a standard of excellence. There was a level. Our high school team wasn't like a normal high school team in the sense of like you had some players that, sometimes in high school you got some players that just are not up to that level. When our training sessions, everybody got better. And our coach at the time, Dafford Evans, who now coaches at Swansea University in in Wales. UEFA licensed coach. Like he's one step away from getting his pro. Like he's a great coach. So we had that structure. We had that like professional structure. Training after school 4 times a week. We trained every day. Every day. So it was great, man. DeMatha was, like I said, DeMatha taught me how to be an elite athlete. It taught me how to be an elite athlete, but also outside athletics, how to be a great student, how to manage my time, and how to be a gentleman.
Yeah. So you told me at DeMatha you also played basketball as well.
I did. So that's funny. That's funny.
And I don't know if people know this, but a lot of your favorite NBA players come out at DeMatha.
Yes, they do. Nah, so I did play basketball. So my sophomore year, when I transferred in, I made the JV squad, and I actually ended up being captain of the JV squad, which is unheard of, transferring in, not being recruited or anything like that. My junior year for basketball, I decided not to play because I was like, I want to play college football, college soccer, so I decided I'm going to sit out. And it happens. Like I made that decision. Came back my senior year. I played, but I'm not gonna lie, I was a bench rider, bro. I was there for the ride. I was a practice player. I was a practice player. I was there for the dirty work, and just being a senior person that could give players encouragement and trying to get the younger kids that were playing to understand that it's a privilege. So it was fun as hell. Like the players that I played with, got to play against. I can say playing at DeMatha, I played with and played against multiple NBA players. And that's something fun. All right. All I do is, but all right. So at DeMatha, the year that I sat out, I played summer league, and on that team at the time, point guard Quinn Cook, who
LA
Laker now, but Duke, before he transferred from DeMatha to Oak Hill, was there. DeMatha was a great player. 2 guard James Robinson played at Pitt. He has the best assist to turnover ratio in NCAA history. Point guard. Now he's playing in Germany. Now this is where it gets kind of crazy. Then you had the small forwards, Jarian Grant, who played at Notre Dame in the NBA. Now he's playing overseas. Power forward Victor Oladipo, who now is one of the best 2 guards in the league. And then at center you have Mikal Hopkins, who played at Georgetown, now playing overseas. And coming off the bench, talking about NBA player Jeremy Grant. And then outside of that, you had that's the year that I sat out. And then the next year, we still had Mikal, because he's my class, James Robinson class below me, Jeremy, Jarius Lyles, BJ Anya, Cameron Taylor, to list a few names, that are still playing now to this day. That's a big thing. It's dope.
Yeah,
so there's a couple. There's guys I played with, and I can say playing against. Let me think about this. So we get on to the next topic that I played against in high school for basketball. I played in the NBA, or that got drafted or got into summer league. Marcus Thornton played at McNamara. Travion Graham was at St. Mary's Riken. Who else? Shabazz Muhammad. Bishop Gorman.
T-Wolves.
Yeah. Michael Benajay. Kyle Anderson.
Dude, the slowest moves.
Yeah, slow. Plays so damn slow, but he is so smooth with it. Man.
Did you have to guard him? Because I need to know, how
funny as hell. That's funny as hell. At DeMatha, we got beat on national TV by 50 points, and we were playing against Kyle Anderson and his team, St. Anthony from New Jersey, Story program. Yeah. And we were down, and you cleared out the bench and put me in, bro. I wasn't the same basketball player I was when I was playing all the time, managing both sports. Puts me in, and I'm guarding the 6'9" point guard that's moving slow as hell. And I'm quicker than this dude. But I'm guarding. I'm like, how the hell is he going around me? But he's moving in slow motion. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. But yeah, it was funny. It was hella funny. It was funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was hilarious what happened. But whatever, that's it. I said I'm done with basketball. Now I'm moving on to college.
Hey. I mean, when I used to play ball too, but I said I was done with ball after I lost by 50 points in the Nike tournament. I was like, yeah, this ain't my sport no more. These dudes too fast. They jump too high. They taller
Yeah.
than me. I ain't doing this. I'm not
Nah.
doing this. I'm not.
I mean, like, personally for me, I feel like, personally, if I wanted to focus on basketball, I could have been a very good basketball player. But I just wasn't, it wasn't my love. Like, I played basketball just for fun. Like, it was just something, like, I did on the side. Like,
Yeah,
for
I
me,
feel you.
football has always been my thing. Like, I never wanted anything else but the ball at my feet.
Yeah,
So,
I feel
yeah,
you.
bro. So, I mean, yeah, after my senior year, that's when I signed with UC Irvine
Yep.
in Southern California.
Woo.
Started my college career.
Woo. So yes, moving on to that. So you
Yeah.
go, you win the championship senior year. Now you're going to signing. Now you're going to signing day. Now you said you signed to UC Irvine, but like, were
Yeah.
there any other big colleges that you were like, this might be it? Or could there have been somebody else besides UC Irvine?
Well, yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is I kind of came on the recruiting scene kind of late for college soccer in a sense. So I was in contact with Maryland, but, Maryland was getting the cream of the crop players, like the top five
Yeah.
players in the nation all were signing with Maryland. Maryland was interested in me. I was in contact with Wake Forest, Davidson, George Mason, who else? St. John's, the Air Force Academy, West Point. So I had a good picking, but I mean, UC Irvine came at me with a great deal, and I was just like, yeah, I can't beat that. A top 15 program, nationally recognized, great education, UC system. Nah, I can't turn that down. So that's why I signed there.
And you got
I'm
California.
yeah, California, Southern California, you can't beat it. Newport Beach, Irvine, California, the safest city in America. Like there is no crime going on there. It's the cleanest place I've ever lived in. I've never seen a city where the grass is always green and being watered, and the streets do not have potholes. I kid you not, Irvine does not have potholes. Like they fix the streets like it felt like every two months. I was like, bro, why are you paving this joint over again? Like it's good, dog. It's good. Your car will run there smoothly. You don't have to change your tires too much there.
Nah,
Nah.
what you saying?
Yeah, bro.
Dang,
So yeah.
that's a lot of East Coast schools, so I can see why Irvine was maybe at the top of that list.
Oh yeah. Nah.
I'm not gonna lie, George Mason, VA, not in the winter.
Oh man.
Maryland, the same. St. John's, that's in
Oh,
Queens.
that's just in Queens. Cold.
That's mine. That's way too cold.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you. I feel you with UC Irvine over there.
Yeah,
So,
man.
talk about the college experience. Like you're a D1 NCAA athlete. Like what's that?
Yeah.
What's that experience like? Like what's that feel like?
It is every American kid's dream to be a Division I athlete. And that's in all aspects and all facets of sports. Like any sport you play in America, you want to be a D1 athlete. So it was fun, man. I got there on campus freshman year. Different. My school personally was not what I was expecting about being a Division I athlete. I'm not gonna go in there, I'm not gonna slander, I'm not gonna say anything but it could have been handled better. But that's because my school wasn't a school that was built on athletics. My school is a research school. It's a school that everybody there goes there to get their degree and go work. So athletics weren't a big thing. I can tell you this. The best programs at the school were, number one was our men's volleyball team.
Okay.
They won 2 national championships while I was there. 2, baseball, because baseball always had a solid team and always made it like we're always in around the tournament. Then the third best team, or probably if you want to like put it on a scale, the best program was the men's soccer program. We were always top 25 in the nation, or top 10, top 15 every year, but we just didn't ever push over that hump of becoming an elite program. And I know why, but I'm not gonna say it because it's just I'm not gonna. I say I'm not gonna say I know why, but I have a feeling why. Like I see a lot of things now that are different. So, but now let's get back into what it was being there. Fun as hell, great time, being a Division I athlete. But it's a lot of responsibility because you got practice, you got weights, then you got study hall, then you have an extra film session or you have an extra training session you got to go to, you got to recover, you got games. Good thing is that our conference was all in California, so we didn't have to travel far. Our furthest games were the out of conference games, but the best part about that was school didn't start until our conference game started because we were on the quarter system. So we came into school in August for preseason. Nobody on campus. It's just us, women's basketball, men's basketball, women's volleyball, and women's soccer, and the rest of like the summer school. So we're there just training. And all of our games, which was great, the first half of the year, we played all of our games that we had to travel around the country. So we didn't miss any school. We didn't miss any time away from classes or anything like that, which was a beautiful thing. Because when regular season, conference season started, that's when we played against like local schools, because the Big West is not a conference that you would think would stretch out of California. All the teams are in California. The only team that's outside of California, the Big West, is Hawaii, but they don't have a men's soccer team, so we didn't get to travel there, which was some shit. But it sucked. But so it's all good. But nah, man, it was cool. Like, so. Got your people in the background, bro. Oh, so like it was cool. I say the biggest adjustment to the college lifestyle for me was the freedom. That was the biggest adjustment. It was a lot of freedom, a lot of free time that you really didn't think you had, but you have a lot. And you know, at Irvine in preseason it was hell. We literally trained and went to sleep because you didn't want to do anything else. You would run in the morning, train in the afternoon. Like it was a lot. Your body had to adjust, and it's a different style, a lot more physical. Even though my team was one of the most technical teams out there, but it's very physical. The college game is very physical, and I think it's changing now because before a lot of teams just recruited, you know, big athletes. Yeah. And my school was one of the schools that recruited players that were not all athletic. We had our mix. We had a lot of athletic players, but we also had players that could really play the game. And I learned a lot from a lot of my teammates there that could really play the game.
Speaking of your teammates over there, I know you had like probably one or two guys that probably went to the draft or something out of your team.
Oh, yeah. So my freshman year when I was there, we had a goalie, Andrew Fontaine, who went on to sign at the time the NASL. Yeah. For Tampa Bay Rowdies, Monsters, and then our biggest, you know, top player, Miguel Ibarra, he went on to get drafted. He played in the MLS, played in the Mexican First Division, played for the U.S. national team. He was there with me. Yeah. After that, we had a center back, Everett Pitts, who was, to this day, one of the best center backs I've ever played with. Big, strong, good on the ball. Great coverage, like great positioning. He decided not to play after school, but he had opportunities too, obviously. And then in the class after was probably the class with the most talent, and they had three or four professionals. Marco Franco, who's still playing, Chino Santana, who stopped playing recently, Tariq Murad, center back, who's still playing, and then Enrique Cardenas, who was the heart and soul of the team, played professionally for a few years, and now he's back coaching in college. Great players, great leaders. Then for my class, you have Cameron Iwasa, who's playing now at Sacramento Republic, got drafted, played, was at Montreal, but went back to Sacramento. Then he went to sign with Kansas City. Then he went back playing hometown kid in Sacramento. And then, of course, me, who's now playing where I'm playing now. So, solid.
So,
solid.
People don't know this, but you got some Kobe stories, because
yeah. So, you know, Kobe
trained over there at Irvine, huh?
Yeah. So that's funny because Irvine is right next to Newport Beach, where Kobe, may rest in peace, rest in power, he lived in Newport Beach. So one of our basketball coaches at the time, I don't know if the coach is still there, was one of his trainers. So Kobe would come out and work out at our school all the time. And, you know, it'd be funny because people be in the training room, because you go in the training room to ice down and get a text message from Kobe's here. I'm like, what? So I go in the training room and I see them. I'm like, yo, this bald, big shoulder, broad, like just big. I was like, yo, this man is big. Like, you would think Kobe is not big. That man is huge. He's a true 6'6", or in European terms, he's 2 meters. And big, bro. His calves are like bowling balls. I had not seen him. I was like, yo, this man is actually big as hell. Cool. Kobe was cool, man. Kobe did his thing. He talked to us like normal people because that's what he wanted while he was there working out. He didn't want to be known as Kobe. He just wanted to be another person. He just talked, chill with people and all those types of things, which was really cool. And a little funny thing, like I talked to him one time, and then the next time I was doing something. I was on the phone, I think. And I was leaving the training room, and he was like coming in, and he's like, "What's up, young buck?" I was like, "What up, Kobe?" And I was like, "Oh, shit." Kobe Bryant said, "What's up?" to me, because I didn't think I didn't know we didn't exchange name or nothing, but I saw him multiple times, like in just conversations you had, like you talk to him, like he'd be cool, you just be talking, you know what I'm saying?
Would he be there would he be there like you see him like every other day, like now?
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be like every other day. It's something like I saw him my freshman year like a few times, 3 or 4 times, because he's just working out. And then after that, I saw him every other year after that. Like it wasn't nothing like to see Kobe was like, oh my God. The first time I saw him, I was starstruck. Yeah. I'm looking at him like, oh, that's Kobe. But after you see him there and you see him all the time driving and working out, so it's just like becomes another thing.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Did you see him ever work out?
No, I wouldn't. His workouts were always closed. Or when he was working out, I would either be training or in the weight room, so I couldn't really get a sneak peek. I see him recovering, and he took his recovery business. Like he had them ice leg pants that you pull on and you lay back, and he be recovering. Now that man be recovering. That man be working. Yeah, he be on his. I mean, he was on his thing, bro. Kobe was one of the best, or arguably the best player to play the game. So. You know how it is.
Hey man, that dude was different. So 4 years done at UC Irvine. Is there stuff you regret that you wish you could change back?
Oh yeah, man. So
you find the way it ended.
Yeah. So now when I look back, I can say I'm a little bit better with how my college career ended, but it still hurts. Yeah. The way it did end. And I mean, not a lot of people know what happened. People close to me know. And I'll get into it a little bit. But it was tough, bro, like how my college career ended. Because it started off on a real high note. And my freshman year just started off really great. Playing, becoming one of the top players in my class. And then going to my sophomore year, being one of the top players in the conference. And then junior year again. And I think for me in college, I could personally say I made a mistake and getting too far ahead of myself and not working as hard as I could have. In a sense of like, not saying I didn't work hard, but I think I just worked enough to get by instead of working enough, because I think I lost sight of what I really wanted to do in my life. I always wanted to play overseas. I've always wanted to be a pro and consider myself a pro. And I did not realize the work that really needed to be put into it, because in reality, I had no one that had been on that path. And especially in America, it's not the way it is in Europe, where you see everybody trying to do that same thing. Because a lot of college athletes, which you don't realize, a lot of Division I athletes, they get into college and they fall out of love with the game. And that's a problem. So I would say if I could go back in time in college, in the off seasons, I would have worked harder and trained harder. I would have been with the ball a lot more. But in the offseason, I'm in college. I'm in Southern California. What do you think I'm doing? I got out of high school, at an all-boys school, and I go to a college where it's mixed. I'm in Southern California. It is 80 degrees right now, 85 degrees. The beach is right there. And I can either do another session or I can go to the beach and go and chill. You know what I mean? And I think that's where I made a little bit of mistake. I didn't do that all the time. I didn't train as much as I should have, because in college, I would say that there's a lot of potential around me, but you can have potential, but if you don't work towards your potential, you're never going to get to that point. And I feel like in college as a player, I kind of stayed the same throughout, thinking I was just going to be okay with that. And I was going to get to the next level being that way, but it wasn't that way. And I could take that personally. But I can also say that there has to be I'm not saying that coaches have to do this, but I think coaches do need to push these players a little bit more. I think they really got to do it a little bit more because as a coach, yes, they want to win games, but you also want to see your players develop. And especially at that age group, of course, everybody's like, oh, the younger age group, from 13 to like 18 or developmental years. But the biggest years for players are that 18 to 22, 23, because that's when players really start making those jumps and those strides and becoming professionals. And in college, the game is too short, bro. I mean, in college, we play 20 games in a matter of 3 months. It's too short. You playing 2 games a week, your body's exhausted. It's just too short. It does not mirror what the game should be. Anywhere else in the world or any professional level, you're playing 10 months out of the year. 8 to 10 months. You're not playing 3 months. So if I could go back in time, if I could do anything to change, I would change my approach in my final year of college. That's the only thing I would change. But that set me up for where I am at now. And it really took me what happened. I mean, I'll go into a little detail about it, excuse me. Coaching staff changed. And I had options to transfer. Like, I had options to go to bigger schools, but I stayed loyal. But I learned in this life, especially in the sports world, there ain't no such thing as loyalty. Like, you can be loyal, but at some time at some point in time, you got to look out for yourself. And I should have done that, and I didn't. But I stayed loyal, thinking that I was loyal, so they were going to be. But I realized with that coaching staff, it wasn't that way, and it hurt me. It really hurt me because it wasn't like I just lost, playing and all that, but I lost like people that were my friends. People like my final year of college was just depressing, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was in a bad way. Yeah. I have 2 best friends from college that I keep in contact with this day. Some of my teammates I don't really talk to that much because, like when I was down bad, I ain't getting no texts. I ain't getting no love. And that's okay. I understand people got their lives, but I know at least for me sometimes, I was there for them when they were down bad. I was there, and I realized, like, all right, bro, like, still got love for them, but I don't really talk to them no more, and that's just how I am. Like, I just cut people out. Like, all right, cool. Coaches, all right, cool. I don't have anything to say to them no more. And I don't really open up about it because I'm not gonna get into detail about it, but that's just how I am. Like, I don't rock with a lot of people back in my college days. And I don't really care to no more. And that's just me. And that's okay. Some people forgive. But I mean, there's a lot of rappers that said this line, you can forgive but never forget. Yeah. And that's just where I'm at, So yeah, that's just, that's the college. So we can go past that now. Let's go back we'll go into the next phase after college to get to where I'm at now. Next phase. Because talk about that gets me emotional. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Nah.
It gets emotional, bro, because.
Nah, but I feel you. I understand that completely.
College, at that point, that was the last step before professional. Yeah. And when it happened in your last year, where you think you're gonna go somewhere, and I'll tell you something else. I'll give you a little something. What made it even worse was this. I personally have been in contact with MLS scouts, like talking normally throughout the year. Oh, snap. And at the end of the year, I messaged a few like, hey, I know the draft's coming up. I didn't play a lot this year. Like, what should I do? You know what they told me to do? Stay in school. I think you should finish. We don't know. I was like, bruh. From them telling me we're interested to, nah, go back to school. Finish. Don't come out. I was like, that right there crushed me. Yeah. It crushed me, bro. Like, I was in such a bad way. I was down, like, as you say, I was down bad. I was in a funk. And I could tell you, we can leave. We're going to leave college now and go to the next chapter.
Don't worry. We got this.
That funk carried over for a year, 2 years. But no, we'll go into that. What's another question you got?
So, I'm just to write off what you were talking about. Now I understand completely, like like I didn't go to college and all that. Cause after my sophomore year, I think I went to Villanova for a camp and all that. And after that, on the way back, my dad told me like, "No, we ain't doing college no more," because
Hmm.
he wanted to influence me and get me out to Spain ASAP as soon as
Yeah,
possible. What I didn't realize at that time was, coming from America going to Spain, man, like I was always like coach's favorite, something like that, or sometimes I take it personal if the coach left me out. I
yeah,
think it was a personal shot. So it
yeah.
took me a while to like register, like, yo, they don't care over here in Spain, over here in
They
Europe.
don't care, bro. They
They
don't
don't
care. They don't
care how cool you could be cool with them off the field, but if you ain't giving them results, giving them
performances.
producing
Yeah, man.
performances, they don't care. So when it took me a while, and I took it to the heart for a little bit. It took me a while to realize, like, yo, maybe I'm getting taken off at the 35th minute because I'm not getting the ball enough. I'm not showing the coach I'm trying to do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's something like they don't teach you in America,
Hmm.
and I feel like that's why like America it is where it is right
I
now in the sports ladder,
No,
the
in the
soccer ladder.
in the football ladder, in the rest of I can say in America we are growing. I can see it now. I see it when I go back home, but there is still that gap, and it's
Yeah,
okay. We're still closing it. But I always advise kids. I'm like, if you have a chance to go to Europe, take it. And it may not be the best decision, but you need to have that experience. Why?
have it.
Because it is a different
Animal.
culture. What football is in Europe to America is like college. It's like basketball or baseball or American football. That's what it
Exactly.
is. And that experience of living abroad and having, because a lot of these European cats, when they get into academies, they leave their families behind and they're living and they're shacking up with kids around their age. Like my teammates that I play with now have played at Betis Academy, Malaga's Academy, Granada's
Hmm.
Academy, and they live on their own for years, for a couple of years, and they have to learn how to manage themselves. And I tell kids, if you want to be a pro, you need to have a European experience. Or
Right.
or you can jump from MLS Academy to MLS contract. But I've seen a lot of kids come that go from, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a good thing too. But I've seen a lot of them not get the opportunities that I believe they should get. But that's okay. That's another story. So
So moving on,
mhm,
you're in Spain now. So how you go from UC Irvine, not going to the draft or nothing, none of that? How you go from UC
nothing popping
Irvine to
off.
Spain? To Spain, like
Okay, so
that's a huge jump. That's a huge jump
yeah,
in my opinion.
that's a big thing. So
That's a
like I
long
said,
jump.
I was down bad. I was
Yeah.
down bad. I was down bad. After college, graduated, um, and I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I wanted to keep playing, and I had to really look deep down inside on what I wanted to do. So I started putting myself out there in the sense of like I was paying to go try out for teams in America called open tryouts. And you pay like, let's say you pay like $150 and you go out and try out with a bunch of people and they look at you the first day, they kind of shift you on to like what level they think you're at. I know the first one I went to was Phoenix United, right?
Yeah.
And personally, I knew I was one of the best players, if not the best player on the field. I knew it, but I didn't believe it because of what had happened before. I was still trying to get out of my funk, bro. Like I said, I was really in just a bad way. Like, and I was just in a bad way with myself.
Hmm.
And I felt like giving up, but there was a little something in my head that was like, don't do it. Just keep going. Like, each day, just try and get yourself out of this. So I went to open tryouts, paying here, paying there, flew out to the other side of the country, went on trial. Coach told me, oh, you're good enough. You can play at this level, but we're going to go with the player that's already. I'm like, all right, cool. Thanks for the review. And coaches would be like, oh, listen, like, if you need anything, contact me. I was like, all right, cool, bro. I'm going to contact you. Set me up with somebody else. Nothing. That's just how it goes. But you got to keep going and keep going. So, on the how back, how I got to Spain. My first year out of college, I was just training on my own. I was playing Sunday League, bro. I was playing Sunday League, hustling in Sunday League. Like playing out in East LA, playing in San Bernardino, driving all over the place just to get paid for gas, like just to get $40 in my pocket, or to get 20 or get 100, and I was still down bad. Like, I wasn't playing like myself. And the funny thing was, these Sunday League players I had played with, because a lot of my boys in college played sometimes in Sunday League just to, to get a little cheddar on the side, It is what it is. And you got to make that money. And they knew how good of a player I was, but I just wasn't myself. And they could see that, like, bro, what's wrong with you? Like, I just didn't know. There was something wrong with me. So I played in the NPSL, right? With they're now called ASC San Diego. Before they were Albion. And NPSL, hella dope. Got to play, got to train. Like, I was training every morning. It was cool, bro. Like, and it was something to get me back in the game. Didn't have a good first year. Did not have a good first year. I was a shell of myself. Zero confidence, bro. Zero confidence. And there was a lot of factors going on at that time. Personal stuff. So I had zero confidence in myself. So I was playing with zero confidence. Sometimes I played with confidence, sometimes I didn't. Whatever. Then I really started training even harder at that point. So when the season ended, the NPSL season, if you don't know, it's only over the summer. So it starts in like March and it ends in like June if you don't make it to the championship, which is in August. So it's a short season.
Right.
So then, good thing was that hold on, let me get the dog out the plant. Dada. The dog's in the plants. Sorry, my bad. So, little puppy we got. So, after that, Albion has a youth academy, one of the top youth academies in America. They put out some good players, really good players. Their most famous player is, I think his name's Ari Lassiter. He now plays for Houston, but he's a good player. San Diego Cat. So, I was there, so I would go train with the U18 team, the oldest team, because our assistant coach for the men's side would let me come out. So, I go train with them, just to keep getting on the ball, just to keep training, like something that I should have been doing when I was in college, right? Mm-hmm. Just training. Second year rolls around. I'm like, all right, bro, like, let's get popping. I'm about to be 23. I got to make it shape. I got to do something. So rolls around. Doesn't start working out at the beginning. Albion got a bigger name, was bringing in more players, ex-pros. One of my boys, Amani Rocker, came in, another forward who played at UC Irvine before I got there. I was brought in to replace him. So it's funny, now we're on the same field, right? He's coming back down from playing professionally, the NASL, USL, trying to revamp his career. They're bringing in a bunch of players. So I get pushed out of the starting 11 into like a reserve, into the second team, like, I'm like, yo, what the is going on, bro? I just didn't know. I didn't know. But I just kept my mind positive, right? And so then this is where it all changed for me. I got in contact, I don't know how, but some agent in Sweden. And he's like, yo, come over if you can front it. And I was like, I got to come out of my pocket again. My family's got to help me out a little bit, those types of things. Come over, come on trial for a month. Cool, did that. Went over to Sweden, bro. And I'm like, Sweden, ball, here we go. And I played well. And I think I refound myself in Sweden. Because the teams I went on trial with, one was like, we like you, but we've already committed to all these players.
Yeah.
But we like you, and you can play. The agent was like, you can play. But it's just difficult because you're American. Whatever. So I went back to the States, and I went back to Albion. And I said, F this, bro. I'm not going to be put out. I'm going to play. And I went back to training, and everything changed. I was a different player. Different player. So much so that I forced the coach, personally, I forced him to put me in because I could say we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but I'll tell you, I learned a lot from this man. I learned a lot from him. And he forced me to become a professional player. Yeah. Before he forced me to, he showed me, he's like, listen, you're in a different world now. Like, the results that matter are what you do for me. He's like, I don't have to give you confidence. You have to give confidence to me. That was his thing, right or wrong. But it was his way. So what I had to do, I had to show in training that I should be starting. I should be leading the front line. And at the end of the day, I got it done. So this is what helped me get it to Spain. So that year, the NPSL, there's a team called FC Arizona. And one of my good friends, great guy who runs an academy out in Spain now called FC Malaga City, and started a senior side, saw me play. I played against him. And a man I was working with back then, Paul Caligieri, who was like a intermediary for me, he contacted him, was like, hey, Paul, like, do you have any forwards? Like, and my guy was like, oh, yeah, I have this guy play the Albion. And funny, this is so funny. George goes, wait, he's a free player? And Paul was like, yeah. He's like, wait, he's not on loan. He doesn't have a contract. Because he didn't know how the American system worked. He thought that I was on loan from a USL or MLS team down there playing. And Paul's like, nah, it don't work like that here. And he's like, he's a free player. He's like, no, tell him to come over. So that's how I got to Spain. Just by luck of the draw, but playing in the NPSL and playing well, and someone seeing the talent that I had. Because in the States, it wasn't shaking. Nothing was dropping for me. I was getting the same thing, same BS, trying to use the same contacts, trying to have people that I worked with back in youth days that are now on the professional level, like trying to, work. Because sometimes it's not about how good you are, it's about who you know. And I thought people would, like at least give me a better look, but nah, it just didn't shake like that. And I had to get out the States, but I had to leave. I could not stay there anymore. It just wasn't for me. And I knew that. So that's how I got into Spain. So I come over to Spain, get all my paperwork done, whatever. And I'm here now, and I'm playing. I started out in the bottom division, bro. Tercera Andaluza Granada. I was in the bottom division, the last division of Spain. So bro, I'm playing against people that are like, I could walk around them busting their ass. Like I'm walking and busting ass. So, but the guy told me, George was like, this is a process. This ain't going to be like you show up here and it gets done. I was like, all right, George, I got you. So I stepped. I was like, it's a process. Because I already been through enough shit. I was like, I'm not going to go back to this. I was like, this is my last chance. This is my only chance. I was like, I got to take this and run with it. So that's what I did. And I trusted George, and I trained hard, and I learned how to become a striker here. I never learned how to be a striker in America. Mm-hmm. Because in America, I was taught certain things, but I wasn't taught how to be a striker. Coach, what's his name? Gareth, played in the Gareth Williams, I believe. He was working at the academy at the time. He played for this, I think he's Scottish. Mm-hmm. Scottish national team. Is he Scottish? Was it Scotland?
UK.
Yeah, he's Scottish. I believe he's Scottish.
All right.
If I'm not mistaken. Played in the EPL, played for the national team, right? Mm-hmm. And he told me, he was like, you are a striker. He's like, you are a 9. He's like, I don't want you drifting wide. I don't want you coming back in the midfield. And he's like, if you're going to drift wide, it better be because you're going to go back inside. But he's like, I need you to stay, if this is your area, the 18-yard box and a line. Imagine an imaginary line. He's like, yes, come back sometimes. But he's like, when that ball goes wide, you are busting your ass to get in the box. He's like, you got to run through, you got to kill the ball and get in the goal. He's like, you need to turn into because he's like, you have it, but you just don't know what to do with it. I was like, all right, okay. I listened to him, and I started scoring and scoring and scoring and scoring and scoring. It's funny. In the last division of Spain,
yeah,
they look at that. They look at it. It's crazy. They look at it. So I was playing there, and George, I left and went back home, and I came back after Christmas break, and George was like a couple weeks after, I go to train with Motril. I ain't even try, I just go to train.
Yeah, my club.
Motril, yeah, your club. Motril sees me after one training session, calls George like, we want him. But I couldn't get in because it was like late in the transfer window, federation, like all this stuff. But they were like, okay, well, we don't need him playing here. If we're going to sign him next year, we need him playing here. They sent me to Cuya Vega, almost like a little like loan deal, whatever, right? Sent me to Cuya Vega in Granada, little pueblo in the middle of nowhere, right? Playing there to help save this team from relegation. Mind you, Cuya Vega's this is from the 8th division jumping to the 5th, right? So I'm like, shit, man, like I'm jumping up in level. Let's see what I can do. 8 games left in the season. The team is like second to last. Yeah. In those 8 games that I played, scored 6 goals, have 2 assists, saved the team from relegation.
That's over. It's over.
I was like, all right, cool. I saved it from relegation. It's smooth, right? So I agreed verbally to sign with Motril next year, right? Yeah. Something happened. They decided not to sign me. Luckily, thank God, one of the teams I played against in Division de Honor that year, called Deportivo Alarino, my first club in the professional realm of football, as I like to call it, In Tercera, they got promoted from Division North to Tercera, which is the third but fourth division. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And they called me up and said, "We want you." I was like, "All right, cool." Fun fact: George had helped me out and got me a trial with First Division Bohemians in Ireland after the season. So I went to Ireland. So I told Alarino, I was like, "Listen, like, if it doesn't work out in Ireland, I'll sign with y'all." Right? Tercera. Cool. Mm-hmm. I go out to Ireland, go on trial for, it was a week long, right? Mm-hmm. They want to sign me. I remember sitting there. I'm not bullshitting or anything like that. Coach comes in. He's like, "I want you. You're like the type of striker we want. We're going to see if we can get the paperwork done." Next day at training, because I thought I was going to go in and have a contract talk and sign right away, I could see something's changed. Mm-hmm. So after that, I trained with them. I trained with them. The players liked me. They were hella cool, funny as hell, these Irish cats, whatever. In June, because in Ireland, they play on the same schedule as America from January to, the fall. So I'm there with the Irish cat. The coach, after training, we go from training, because they train in the afternoon sometimes, go from training, we go watch the youth team play, and I'm riding this man's car. We're talking. He's like, "Listen, like, I got to tell you this. We would love to sign you, but the federation and all those types of things, by the time we get your license through, the season will be done. So, like, let's just keep in contact." I was like, "All right, bro, like, it is what it is, right?" So I was like, "All right, bro, another door closes. Cool, I'm going to keep pushing." So I call up Alarino. I was like, "Listen, I'm coming." They're like, "All right, we got you. Go back to the States, get all my stuff worked out, whatever, come back, sign with Alarino." First year in Tercera. That year was my introduction into Spanish football. It was...
Remember the stats of that year?
Yeah, man. So played in 38 matches, started 20. Out of those 20, I scored 14. So I had 14 goals, which is first year in that league, because people don't realize, like, the fourth division Tercera, that level is it's a level, bro. It's not no. You might think like, because the way they talk about it here in Spain, that it's not. No, a lot of my teammates, a lot of players that I play with can go back to the States right now and take jobs from people. They can go to other countries and take jobs from people. They just don't want to. Why the hell would you want to leave here, bro? It's Spain. Like, what would you want to? It is nice weather all the time. It's southern Spain, baby. It's Malaga. It's la Costa del Sol. Es donde la Costa del Sol se vive aquí. Like, you live out here, bro. You live out here. So why do you want to leave? Level's crazy.
I feel you.
Level's crazy.
People don't realize. Like, I remember coming out when I went back to New York for Christmas breaks. When my first summers living out here in Spain.
Yeah.
So I go back home. And everybody telling me, like, "Yeah, bro, like, I'm trying to make it out there too." I'll be at bars. Like, people think you can't really go. You can't go from wherever you are, your main port, Barcelona.
Yeah.
Like, it just does not.
It just don't work. It just don't work. Hold on real quick. I gotta get this damn dog. Call this damn dog. Hey. Oh, yeah, yo, the dog going crazy.
Right, sure.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah.
Dog going crazy. Huh?
Yeah, so like I was saying, people don't realize how tough it is out here in Spain. Like,
bro,
they can come here. It is competitive at every level.
It's competitive, bro. Like, I would say from first division down to the fourth, it goes up. It goes up.
Oh, man.
It goes up. Because one thing you're playing for here that I think the States needs to implement for me is promotion and relegation. Every year you have a chance to promote leagues. You have a chance to be a champion and move up leagues, which you know what that means? More prestige, more games, and of course more money.
Mm-hmm.
So every year,
you don't realize you're gonna lose your job if you don't perform.
Exactly. They don't have no, and that was, for me, that was great. And I learned a lot. I could say one thing I'll take from this experience is I can speak the language now, bro. I can actually speak Spanish to people, and it's fun. Because now I can really get into things. I can really enjoy it. So, I got with Alarino, had my first year there, did well. Whatever. We ended up getting relegated because it was a whole mess. But they dropped 8 teams from our league, blah, blah, whatever. We want to get in that. Next year came back. Coming back off an injury that I had to get operated over summer. Cool. They knew about it. Got that done. Came back. Got in shape. Got back again fit. Had a good period, then dropped off, and I got dropped from the starting 11, and that really messed with my mind. I was like, I came back to Alarino when I had offers to sign back to Tercera with some good clubs.
Yeah.
And I decided to come back and be loyal, and I was like, damn, I'm being loyal. I'm not even playing. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But whatever. So what happened, after that year, it was 2019, 2020. So, it hit in 2020.
Yup.
Coronavirus. But Alarino at the time it was fun. Loved it there. I would never change it. 2020 hit, boom. Season ended early, prematurely. I didn't know if I was going to have a contract. Alarino said they wanted me back, but of course, financials.
Yeah.
Financials is a big thing. So, didn't work out with Alarino and got in contact with El Palo, the club I'm with now, who had been wanting to sign me since my first year back in Spain. And now I'm here with El Palo, now fighting for promotion. And that's just how it is. I mean, for me, thinking about all that I've been through, it's funny. I was talking about my little brother the other day. We was talking. I was just like, he was like, bro, you don't know what you're doing, and you don't really sit down to enjoy it. And you're still playing ball. At your age, you still doing what you love to do. You ain't here working a desk job. You ain't doing this, you are still playing ball. And I'm like, I am. Are you enjoying it? So at the end of the day, like, I look back on my story. I know I didn't get into too much detail, but just looking back on it, it's cool, bro. I think it's pretty smooth. I think it's smooth. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. I mean, it's different out here in Spain, man. It's different.
No, it's different.
Man.
It's different.
Like,
It's different.
it's just the cream of the. It's just the cream of the crop, because if what they tell me out here is like, if you can make a career here in Spain, you can make a career anywhere in Europe or in the world, basically.
In the world,
It's one of the top countries, and people don't realize it. Just because they haven't won that much internationally, bro, you gotta look at the competition coming into the league. Like, you got
man.
Understand why the competition here is so hot.
It's crazy high. Like, the thing is, like, down to like Tercera, like, these dudes can ball, bro. The only problem is that we talk about financials. They don't put enough money in Spain into these leagues like they do in England or in Germany or even France, or I don't know about Italy, but I know for sure England and Germany.
Yeah, you can be a pro at fourth division and wouldn't have to worry about nothing.
Nothing. But like, bro, like the level here is crazy. Like, I mean, and they take it serious. I mean, especially like with my club at Alarino, like. At Alarino, our whole goal was to stay in the league and then push, but it just didn't work out that way. El Palo's been a club that's like, no, we pushing to promote, and that's the mentality. I want to promote. Like, that's what my goal here is, to promote, is to get another promotion, because I have been in Spain and I have been part of teams that are promoted. I mean, at Almendraca City, they promoted my first year there. We won the league while I was still playing before I moved to Cuya Vega, and I was at Cuya Vega, helped the team stay out of relegation. Alarino, I helped them. We were one game away from staying out of relegation. And, of course, the last game I didn't play because I got my 5th yellow versus my current club, El Palo, against one of my current hope was in El Palo, who we used to go at it, center back, who's now my boy, Barrera. He got me a 5th yellow, and I didn't play the last game, and we lost, or we tied when we could have won. And then, the next year I helped Alarino come back up and promote, and we promoted. And, so like now I'm at Opala, and my goal is to promote. And my goal for me is to keep progressing as a player and to enjoy it. Like, I can look back and think about I could go back and like, damn, this happened, and be like, I would have been this, I could have been that. But I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I should curse on the podcast, but fuck it. Like, I'm here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here. I'm here. Like, I'm doing what I love to do. And all the stuff that's happened in the past has made me who I am today, for better or for worse. And that's just how it is,
Hey, so we hitting the home stretch right now, so I'm gonna hit you with some hot takes. All
right, hit me hot take. Hit hot take. Come on.
All right. I need to hit top 5 strikers.
Top 5 strikers of all time or right now?
Ones that like you watch, or like who your favorite? Who's your favorite top 5 strikers? Who
Top
do you
5
like?
strikers. My number one all time, Thierry Henry. TT. That was my boy, right?
That's a bad boy right there.
Number 2. Not many people know, but I used to watch this cat. His name is Ailton. He played in Werder Bremen in Germany. Brazilian cat. Monstrous. I loved watching Ailton play. All right.
All right.
Three. All right. 3, Didier Drogba. Drogba been that man. Drogba has been that man. All right. That's a bad man. 4, because he's so misunderstood, but he's got so much talent, and I don't care what people say. I know they're going to be like, you an idiot, you dumb, whatever. Mario Balotelli would have been the best striker in the world if they had somebody, that could understand him, because that man is just angry. But that man is the most talented player, one of the most talented players that's still playing this game, Mario Balotelli. All right, and then the 5th. See, this is tough because I never really watched Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, right? But if I'm gonna go with a striker that I watched growing up, I'm gonna have to go with. It's difficult. Like I'm thinking back. It's between Zlatan or Cristiano Ronaldo, and of course Ronaldo original. But I didn't really watch Ronaldo original because I was young. Like I was watching highlights of him. You see what I'm saying?
Ooh, that's
the original Ronaldo. That's a bad boy right there. So my top 4 is solid. My top 4 I already know. But my 5th, you know what I'm saying? So I got to do that.
That's a revolving door right there. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Now, like, off your boy Balotelli though, like I remember watching Balotelli in the 2012 Euro Cup because they played Spain first game, and I was like, who is this big black dude on the freaking Italian team?
See, like, listen, when I think about strikers, I have to watch players that look like me. Not in the sense like I don't like other players, but that look like me and kind of play like me, have the same style as me, something I can relate to. Oh, no, and that's why I chose those.
No, I feel like
listen, I love like Robert Lewandowski. I love Messi. I love Suarez. I love those forwards, but I don't see enough of myself in them to watch them. I watch them because they're great players. I'm like, I watch and I learn, Oh, and then outside of that, 6 or 7, Lukaku, my boy Lukaku, dog. Like he don't get enough love. That man is a purified monster. I know his first touch might not be the greatest, but if you're talking about a man that can destroy you in many facets.
People don't remember Lukaku at Everton. People don't remember him.
He's resurging now. What he's doing at Inter Milan is crazy right now. So
people don't remember how bad that man was at Everton.
Man, that's a bad boy.
I think he made 30 goals a year one time at Everton, which is unheard of though.
It's a bad boy. That's a bad boy.
Yeah, that's pretty good for no touch.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He must have something on the first touch. You know what I'm saying?
All right, moving on. Top 5 artists. Like who's on your playlist going to the game? Who you listening to?
Playlist going to see, that's crazy, man. I listen to everything. So if I'm going to a game, it's difficult because it always changes. But Future is always in there. Okay, Future. Gotta have me some Future. Future's in there. Because your generation, y'all, I mean, Future's in there. All right. If I'm gonna go with like what I have so many mixes, so I get Future in there. I throw a little Kendrick, K Dot in there. I'll throw me a little bit of Ace Hood because Ace Hood be snapping. Ace Hood really be snapping. Ace Hood really be snapping. All right. And then of course, I'll throw in a little bit of some reggaeton and all that stuff. Like my teammates like whatever reggaeton artists. I got some bangers in it. So we'll just say the third will be like reggaeton. Well, you said artist, so I'll give you a third artist. So if I'm gonna go with reggaeton, it's gonna be Mike Towers. Like he's tough.
Oh yeah,
Mike Towers is tough. All right, so I'll throw him in. And then my 5th artist, this is tough. This is tough. I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna go with, if I'm gonna go new school artist, I'm gonna go with Gunna or Lil Baby. Gunna
Ooh,
and Lil Baby together, yeah, it's cool.
I put people on to Little Baby because I
A
was
little
on.
bit,
Oh
a little
man,
bit.
I was on Little Baby when he got this song called Dreams. I think it's called Dreams and Nightmares, not Dreams and Nightmares. I can't remember.
Oh, see, I'm an idiot. See, this is what I'm talking about. Dreams and Nightmares is Meek Mill. Meek Mill is on my
I
playlist.
was, I was almost saying.
Meek Mill is on my playlist. So I don't really have a top 5. I just got too
Nah,
many because I got a big mix. But Meek Mill is in there. So
Meek Millie's in there because Dreams and Nightmares. People don't know this. That was a New York anthem too. Even though he's from Philly, that song was a New York anthem because everybody was bumping that song.
when I first heard Dreams and Nightmares was in college, it was funny. I was pumping gas station. I was pumping gas at the gas station with my boy. My boy pulled up. Eric A. Wright played basketball. And he was like, "Yo, you heard that new Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares?" I was like, "Nah, I haven't." He's like, "Yo, the intro." I was like, "How's it go?" He put it on, and I was like, "He's like, see my dreams unfold, nightmares come true." And I was like, "Okay, Meek." And then he was like, "Hold on, wait a minute." I was like, "Yo!" We were in the parking lot. First of all, we're in the parking lot of Irvine, California, which is one of the nicest areas. And he blasted Meek Mill, and you got 2 young black men just going crazy, and people looking at you like, "The hell going on here?" And we're like, "We having a good ass time. What's up with it, boy?" Like. Yeah, so Meek Mill. You know what I'm saying? All right, so what's next? What's next?
All right. Let me think. All right, get top 5 artists. What about? I know you play basketball, so give me your starting 5. Like, give me your all-time starting 5.
All-time starting 5.
You play basketball because we got to put that in. I'm playing against some NBA players.
All-time starting 5. So, point guard. Players that I like, point guard. I'm gonna go with Chris Paul at point guard.
All right, sounds.
Shooting guard, I'm gonna go with Ray Allen.
Ooh, shooters. That's a shooter right there.
Small forward, LeBron James. Actually, no. It's my bad. I'll put Kobe at small forward.
Ray Allen,
Kobe at small forward. All right, these are players that I watched. I'm not talking about back in the day because I would put MJ in there, but I didn't watch him. So Kobe at small shooting, small forward. LeBron at power forward, and then at center, I gotta put Mr. Fundamental. I gotta put Tim Duncan in there.
Tim Duncan, nuts.
Yeah, got to.
Ooh, damn! No one's touching that team.
No one's touching that. No one's touching that. That's me. My starting 5.
Oh man, no one's beating that team. Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. All right, so got one last one. You know, Super Bowl about to come up. So who you got, the Bucks or the Chiefs? Me personally, that boy Mahomes, he a problem. That boy a problem. I don't care. Brady the GOAT. Brady the GOAT. I'll give him that. I've never seen anything like that. But dog, Mahomes, my dog.
Yeah, Mahomes is great.
Yo, side arm, off the back leg, dog.
If I'm going for who's gonna win it, I gotta say Kansas City, but that man Tom Brady, bro, like he said, you see memes on the internet. This is a meme I saw on the internet. I'm not gonna take credit for it. It said Tom Brady really said, "All right, what team, random team, am I gonna take to the NFL, to the Super Bowl this year? All right, I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay," and he took them to the Super Bowl. Like that man is truly one of the greatest athletes of all time to do it, bro.
I've never seen nothing like that.
I've never seen something like that. So
I never seen nothing like that. But I'm just saying that boy Mahomes, he a problem. He a problem. I'm just saying. Last time they played the Bucks, Tyreek Hill got 200 yards in one freaking quarter. So
it's different now, baby. This is a Super Bowl.
It's Super Bowl. So it's Brady.
All right. So now, last one. You got to end on a soccer question, a football question. You can't end on
you want a football?
No. What's the last one? No, 2 more. What's the second and last one? And then we'll do the next one.
All right. I got you. Shoot. All right, this one's an interesting one. I actually want to hear your opinion on this. Since you're a striker and all that, who your top 5 center backs? Who your top 5 center backs? One thing for me, I play right back. Whenever I play in defense, I'm in the right back. So me, you're really not my problem because I'm not trying to guard. I ain't gonna be marking you like that. I'm giving you my center back because I'm like, look, If
Top
that ball
five,
was in the air, he winning it. I ain't doing nothing about that.
top five center backs. All right, top five center backs. Sergio Ramos, obviously.
Problem. That's a problem.
Virgil van Dijk.
That's a bad man right there.
That's a bad dude. That's a bad dude. Virgil van Dijk. Who else? Try to think, bro. Try to think. Koulibaly, monster. Koulibaly, monster.
I was saying a Van Dijk and Koulibaly team, if Liverpool got both of them boys, no, I ain't seen zero goals. That's just too mean.
Who I think is a very good center back. Very, very good. Just not playing his best right now is Varane. Varane is just, that's a monster. So I got Van. Okay, that's four. And then the fifth one. Ooh, fifth one. I'm gonna give a shout out to the USA. I'm gonna give a USA center back in there for center back out of the USA that's still playing in the USA. I'm gonna have to go with a player that I played against in college, Aaron Long. So
Oh snap! On the Red Bulls, right?
yeah. Good center back, very good center back.
I just read this morning that Liverpool thinking about signing him.
Yeah, man, that boy bad, man. That's a bad boy. He in college, I'll give you a little insight. In college, he was not a center back. This man was an attacking midfielder or an 8 or box-to-box midfielder or a striker. That's why he can play on the ball. Boy can play. So I really hope he gets that move to Liverpool because people are doubting him, but that man can play. He'll be fine.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
All right, last one, bro. So this last question, shout out to all the smoke for this segment because I'm taking this from them. I don't want to get
All right.
So this last one. So keep in mind, if your answer is, you have to help me with this answer. All right.
All right, cool.
Who do you want to see on the island next?
See, I have so many people, bro, but like the hardest part is getting the people to do it. I'm trying to think. Like, I have a homegirl who plays for Real Sociedad, but I don't know if she'll do it because she just be lost in her own world. I got a couple people back in the States, but I don't know what they're doing. So I'm going to try. It's just tough, bro. It's just tough. I'm trying to think of somebody I know that for sure will do it. But I could work my magic.
Work that magic, son.
Let's see. All right. I'm gonna nominate my boy Kobe Osewusu. His name is Kobe Osewusu. He
I thought you were say Kobe B.
No, Kobe Osewusu. And he was actually at DeMatha with me. I told you he was at DeMatha with me, but he didn't play varsity while I was my freshman. He was on JV but he was a baller. He was still a monster. And he signed with I want to say it was George Washington. He's played in the USL for Orlando City B and Richmond Kickers. So I'm gonna try and get him to do it. All right,
that's my dog.
I'm gonna try and get him to do it.
Dog, but hey, dog, thank you so much for coming
on. Thank you. Hey, listen.
First episode
thank you.
Done.
Thank you. I mean, listen. I told you this before when we was talking when your pops was here. Like, it's something I don't do. I don't really talk about myself, but why not, bro? Like, it's as you said, it's 2021, so I'm thinking about letting my story out a little bit more than I did before. Not everything, but just a little background to give a little bit of inspiration and tell players that if you really want it, as you said, everybody says, if you really want it, you got to go after it, but you just got to know the right pathways and avenues. And I think that's what players need to know. There's certain pathways and avenues because not everybody can go on the same path. Sometimes you got to take the road less traveled.
Yeah, that's what I always try to tell people, like, yo, not every player is Messi or Ronaldo type.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's cool you look at them, but you should really look at guys that,
try and relate, but at the same,
like, just different.
Yeah,
they're just different. They don't. You don't realize till you get into this space where that dudes at that level are just made different right now.
Yeah, bro. But at the same time, you got to also look at it this way. Like, You're trying to be the best version of yourself. You don't want to mirror yourself out of anybody else's game because then you won't show your true talent. So yeah, like personally, like I said, like for me, it's about going after what you want, but finding the right avenues. And like I said, not everybody's going to be on the same trajectory. Some players sometimes you have to hit rock bottom and fight your way back up. Sometimes you get there and you get dropped, but sometimes you just keep going. It just depends. You just don't know. But if you really want it, you're going to have to go through some things. And that's just life. You got to fight.
It's just, hey, my pops always says this: if it was easy, everybody do it.
This is true. It's so true. So yeah.
But, hey, dog, I appreciate you telling your story.
Thank you.
A lot of adversity that we just heard. That's
Thank
pure.
you.
That was some pure emotions right there, dog.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me, bro.
Like I said, dog, that sounds like I'm not gonna lie, from the outside looking in, shoot, that sounds like pretty exciting. That sounds kind of a pretty exciting story. Just imagine, look at. You start at DeMatha, go to UC Irvine, spend time in Sweden, Spain, Ireland. Like you really doing it, dog. So
thank you.
I want to wish you too much luck because you're in the same league as my 18. So I don't want to wish you too much luck. I kind of want y'all to lose a little bit because we struggle. Struggling a little bit.
Listen, bro, you ain't got to worry. I already got y'all out the way 2 weeks ago. So you already know what I'm saying. I already got y'all out the way.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
Hey, bro, it's a part of the job, baby.
Hey, dog, shoot. I'm gonna still watch the games. You know how it is.
Much love.
We're gonna kick it as soon as they open this.
Yeah, as soon as we get out this stuff up. Yeah.
And never know, we might bring you back on. Let's see if you do. See if you got somewhere else then.
Nah, I'm down for that, bro. All right, bro. Much love, man. Be easy.
All right.
All right, later.
Later, dog.